in the screen?
Yeah, right in the middle. And it's recording. You're not smiling.
Well, I'm not ready to shoot yet.
Hi everyone, back again. So this is another new project that kind of popped to mind. The truck now has 143,000 miles, so I probably should have done this probably years ago, honestly. But I'm actually installing two Baldwin B252 hydraulic / transmission fluid filters right here. And I'll give you a view of mounting. And obviously I'm not done yet. This is started, but not really anywhere near finished. So we come back over here. This is the this is the factory cooler connections. So what I did is I just took a barbed connector fitting, I guess you'd say, barb to barb, put that in the original line, which is right here, down in there, that goes down to the cooler inside the original radiator. Right, so that's just going to come across here, come over to here and drop in and hit the inlet of these guys, and then the outlet's going to come out over here and run somewhere along here, probably behind this bumper. There's a steel structure inside here underneath the plastic, which is the crash bar, and come right around over to here, and this is already connected. It's going to loop back into the cooler. So what's going to happen is the transmission fluid's going to come out of the transmission after doing all the things that it does inside, and then go ahead, as it used to, come back through the integral cooler, which is located inside the radiator itself, which then used to pop out and come up to here and go into this fitting, go through the cooler, and come out down the bottom here, which you can't see. It's buried behind the bumper, and that goes back to a hard line that goes back to the transmission. So basically the filters are going to be between the cooler in the radiator and the external cooler here, and then feeds back to the transmission. These are Baldwins, as I mentioned. These are actually designed for transmission fluid. These are not engine oil filters. Nobody that I've found recommends using engine oil filters for this application, because it's really not what they're made for. They're made for motor oil. Transmission is a little different. You know, whether it's going to eat a filter or cause any kind of plugging problems, or would it release any sort of debris, I have no idea. But I'm not willing to take that chance when these are only 20 bucks a piece, and I'm not going to blow up a $4,000 to $6,000 transmission to find out that I skimped a couple of bucks on the filters I bought when I really shouldn't have done that. So that's what's going on here. I'm going to come back. So in the middle of the project here, what I'm going to do, since this hose I left purposely very long, I'm going to take that and I'm going to drop that into a 2-liter plastic container, and I'm going to flush probably at least a gallon of transmission fluid through the unit. I'm going to have my wife turn the engine on and off very quickly, and keep a very close eye on how much fluid is coming out, and try to pour some in at the same time to keep the level fairly even, and just make sure that if any of these fittings had any kind of leftover manufacturing debris or anything happened to be caught in here, that I can flush that out and make sure that it doesn't get in here, because obviously anything after the filters is going to end up in the transmission making a loop before maybe it would come back and get caught by the filters here, or get caught by the whatever you'd like to call it, the grosser screen, which is usually about 100 micron, which is located inside the transmission itself. Either way, I really don't want to take any of those chances, so that's basically what's going on here, and I will get back to you after the flushing procedure. We'll see how everything's going. I've got this T-bracket here that I picked up at Home Depot, and I bent it a little bit to match the bend that there is here in the radiator support. And I'm going to put a couple more screws in here so that it's nice and firm. I just had one there just to hold it in place so I could mock up where everything fits, to make sure that this bracket here is going to connect okay to that one. And I just went and actually took large aircraft clamps, and I need to reverse these because I wasn't sure which way this thing was going to sit to begin with. There was many possibilities running through my head of how I was going to bracket it to make sure it didn't vibrate and break itself loose or damage anything else or cause a leak, which would be catastrophic. So I'm going to flip those around and get everything bolted down, and then we're going to see how everything runs. So in a couple of minutes I will catch up to you again. Alright, so here we are back again. Here's everything actually wrapped up now. I went ahead and painted the brackets. You saw in the first part of the video, one of these was shiny, this guy, and this one actually came already black, but I painted both of them to match with like a hammered bronze kind of a finish. And you can see all the hoses running through here, right? Comes down. And I don't know exactly what they call these things. I call them cushy clamps. It's like a little rubber shell here with metal, and they're very often used for brake lines and fuel lines on hot rods and things of that nature. Let me pan over, right, and as you've seen before, there's the filters. So this is very, very close to where the edge of the grill is. Obviously I've got the grill pulled right now, so the back part where the grill makes that kind of sweep in, you know, near the headlight. So they're not hitting each other, but they're very close, so I put some cushioning here just in case they happen to bump, that I didn't want those two actually crashing into each other as such, right? So just pan over here, you can see where the other line comes out of here and makes a little curve, goes over to here, and links up with the original factory cooler, and just ties right in. So what I did when I had everything only partially assembled, I had this piece of hose here loose, and I stuck that into a clear plastic container. I put about a gallon of fresh transmission fluid through it just to flush all the lines and everything, and all the fittings I just installed, you know, just in case they happen to have any leftover whatever, metal shavings, who knows, whatever, from the fabrication, because I'm guessing these are probably made in China most likely, and we all know that a lot of stuff that comes out of China is 99% there. It's pretty good, but often they'll have some little foible that you still have to deal with. So we did that, and then after I had everything connected, I went ahead and hooked the higher pressure side, the flow, which is this, comes through here. And over here I just had a piece of loose hose, came out over here like this, just dropped down, and I had a little table sitting right here with that same clear container after I emptied that to make room for more. And I went ahead and flushed these through as well, just to make sure, 100% sure, that I had my flow direction correct, because supposedly, even though these are hydraulic filters, supposedly these have anti-drain back valves. So if that was pushing fluid in the wrong direction, that would be a really, really big problem. Potentially, I don't know, possibly blow out the transmission's pump due to super amount of maximum back pressure, and whatever else the fluid would be trying to do, because it wouldn't be able to head in the direction it was supposed to go. So just being very cautious, just making sure everything was good. So everything tested out real well. So then I went ahead and just grabbed this guy, which was the other piece left over, brought that around, figured out what the length I needed was, chopped that off, attached it back to this fitting, and then got the filters mounted up and got everything prettied up. So it comes out of here. This is, like I said, it's just a splice, kind of a back-to-back barb in here, just comes right out of here. Got one little guy here. This had a convenient hole that was perfect. It was already there. Just went ahead and put that in, just routed this right over to here and right through there. So just zip and back through the factory cooler and then back to the transmission, and we're all good. So that's basically the end of this project. Thank you for watching. If you're not a subscriber already, I would ask if you would subscribe. Please support the channel. And until next time, FG out.